Hello world, welcome back to my show, the That Hot Sauce Guy show. This is week number 2. This week we're going to be reviewing Rosa's Green Chili Hot Sauce. This is put out by RobertRenzoniVineyards.com. And this was actually sent to me by a Marine buddy of mine down in Southern California, so thanks House. We'll give this a shot, we'll see what we think. So this is going to be very different on the scale than last week's. Last week we looked at Tapatio, which is fairly mild, pretty mild in fact. This one I expect to be quite a bit spicier because it does have habanero peppers in it, and in fact that's the first ingredient. And one thing that I think is kind of interesting with this, so it's really common for a hot sauce to have, peppers and vinegar and salt and just be really basic like that. But with this one, they've actually got some pretty interesting ingredients. So obviously you've got your habaneros, but it's also got Tabasco peppers, chayote, which if you don't know what chayote is, it's kind of like this pear-shaped squash that has these little like furry spines all over it that grows on a vine. It's really good with scrambled eggs. But it's got chayote, it's got your normal acetic acid, it's got celery, garlic, cilantro, which I love cilantro. So some different things you don't typically see in a hot sauce: the cilantro, the chayote, and the celery. So I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to go down. My guess is that's going to help to make it just a little bit more mild. The fact that it's not purely habanero peppers, having the Tabasco in there, I think will help to tone it down just a little. So let's start with the sniff. Definitely has the habanero smell. And you'll usually find habanero sauces in one of two styles. They're usually green or they're red, depending on when the pepper was picked. Sometimes they're orange. And that definitely smells like a green habanero. So let's start with a sample. Let's start with a shot. Good size shot there. You might think that's a little ridiculous. Maybe it is. This was my brother's idea. He thought, rather than just giving it a little taste, like give it a real taste as, I guess, the gimmick for this show. So anyway. Well, it's definitely spicier than Tapatio. And that's a really interesting flavor. It's you can taste the habanero, but I think because of the chayote and those other things in there, it has more of a, I'm not sure how to describe it, like a stir-fry vegetable taste in a way. Yeah, that is not your average habanero hot sauce. That's quite nice. I'd probably put this somewhere around probably like a 3.5. I'd probably call this like a 3.5 out of 5. So if the most you can handle is like a medium paste picante, this is going to be pretty hot for you. But it's not an insane heat though, which I appreciate because an habanero on its own is pretty hot, and I like hot sauces obviously, but it's still there's got to be enough flavor to go with that heat to make it worth it. And when they can also turn the heat down just a little bit, that can be kind of nice. All right, shot out of the way. Let's try it on scrambled eggs. And this, like I said last week, like scrambled eggs, that's the number one test for me. If you're not good on scrambled eggs, your hot sauce probably is not worth my time. All right. It's kind of a smooth flavor, if that makes sense for a hot sauce. I don't want to say creamy. I mean, there's no milk products in it. It's got me sweating a little bit, so it does have some heat. Of course, that was a ridiculous amount to consume, but that goes really good on the eggs because it does something different. It's not just that full-on pepper flavor that it's adding. It's like it's giving it more of a rounded vegetable flavor, which I always add vegetables to the scrambled egg, so that's a good thing. Well, that passes the scrambled egg test. Next, I want to try it on some pan-fried, I'm going to make it sound fancier than it is, some pan-fried pineapple slices here. Just sliced this up this morning. And the reason I want to try it with pineapple is, to me, an habanero, given that it comes from like the Yucatan region of Mexico, like that's a tropical area, there's a lot of tropical fruits, they're used a lot in the cooking. To me, the habanero is just synonymous with tropical flavors, and so let's try it with pineapple. That's pretty nice. That it's like you don't get a huge hot sauce flavor on the pineapple. I think because you've got so much sweetness and sugar, the two kind of come together. It still has a very strong pineapple taste, but you're getting that heat. I mean, I can definitely taste the garlic like this. That's really good. I actually like to try it on some mango too. Oh, I didn't buy any mango though. That goes very well. In fact, that might even be better than the scrambled eggs. All right, next, I'm going to try something a little different here. I've just got a bowl of jambalaya, and I wanted to try something with a pork in it, because in food from the Yucatan Peninsula, pork is a very common protein ingredient. It's where you get really good things like my favorite food from down there is cochinita pibil, which is like a really slow roasted pork. It's got, what's the word in English? In Spanish, it's achiote. Annatto seeds. These little itty bitty, rock hard red seeds. It's what they color cheddar cheese with. But down there, it's used to help color and season a lot of traditional dishes. Anyway, it's got that. It's got a lot of onion. It's got a little habanero and sour orange, which I think is also a Seville orange, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, if you're ever around Merida or Cancun and you see a taco stand selling cochinita pibil, either tacos or tortas or whatever, get them. They're so good. And it's always served with an habanero salsa or an habanero hot sauce, depending. And they do a lot of soups down there, which a lot of times will have pork as well, and you would also have with a hot sauce, and they're amazing. So we'll add a little hot sauce to the soup, give that a good stir, and that actually blends really well. And this is something I actually want to address in future episodes as well. Certain sauces, depending on their consistency, lend themselves better to different types of food. Like if you have a hot dog or something like that, you want a sauce that's thicker so that it doesn't just run and drip before you're able to eat it. If you're mixing it into a soup, a more liquidy hot sauce is probably a better choice. And this is pretty liquidy. It's not real thick at all. So for this type of an application, it works great. I'm making that sound like it's a type of paint or a glue, but in a way, it kind of is. Like it's what helps to like a good glue could help hold a piece of furniture together. A good hot sauce can help tie a meal together. All right, let's see how we are with the jambalaya. Give it a little bit more. I know soup isn't traditionally thought of as a breakfast food, but if you were out camping in the winter, something like this would be a really good combination, I think. When it's cold outside, you're trying to get warmed up, a nice hot soup, throw some hot sauce in there, and that would make for a really nice morning. That's really good. And the jambalaya is good too, but that's a good combo. And I really think some of the really interesting flavors that are coming out of this are actually because of the celery and the chayote. Like, I don't know, that's just a whole different note that you don't normally get from a hot sauce. If you wanted to try this hot sauce, like I said, the website is robertrenzonivineyards.com. I'll provide a link down in the description. And it's about $8 a bottle, so definitely a little more expensive than the Tapatio, which is just about the best deal you can get. So with the Tapatio, for the value, I called that a 5 out of 5. I'm probably going to put this more in like the 3 out of 5 range. I don't think that's a bad price for a really good hot sauce, and I would say this is really good. So like I said, for heat, not terrible, especially when you get into these hotter hot sauces or hotter peppers. It's really not that bad. I'm going to call it like a 3.5 out of 5 for the spiciness. The flavor is really good and really different, but different in a really good way. Like, it's just a whole different experience from what you normally get with not just an habanero hot sauce, but any hot sauce. So I'm going to call that like a 4 out of 5. That's a really interesting sauce. And I keep saying interesting, and that doesn't sound right, but it's different in a really good way. So I really like it. I would highly recommend it. Thanks, House, for sending this out to me. They get my seal of approval. That is a tasty hot sauce. And that's going to be my review of Rosa's green chili habanero hot sauce for this week. Hope you enjoyed that. If you liked this, go ahead and click that like button. If you didn't, thumbs down, you can do that too. You're not going to hurt my feelings. If you want to see more reviews of hot sauces coming throughout the weeks and months and hopefully years, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you want to get notified when a new video comes out, you can go ahead and hit that bell button as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.